On the 29th of February 2020, Chief Dr. Ogbalu, Ogbalu of Abada, departed this world after a brief illness. He was aged 79 years. He had served his country in various capacities, including as the Executive Director and CEO of National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
I'm so glad to have this opportunity to talk about my fantastic dad, Ebubedike one of Abagana. You know I love you so much. You loved me so much. You gave me everything I have today. God used you to build so much courage and confidence in me. You made me believe I could be or do anything. You know, you were a perfect father. You had 8 children, and every one of us, every one of the 8 of your kids felt your love individually. We felt you loved us, each of us alone. You know, you had the kindest heart, you know, of anyone I know. You would give your last penny if someone needed it. You were very generous. You gave and gave and gave. You never got tired of giving to people. And you hated to see people oppress you. That's any sort of injustice really got you so annoyed. You were a happy person, very joyful. You would dance, you would sing, you would, you know, you loved life. What can I say? You made sure we were all educated. I'm a medical doctor today because you gave me the inspiration. And I remember when I became a doctor, you actually shed tears. You were like, oh, you did it, you did it. You know, you cried, you shed tears, you were so happy. And I'm glad I was able to make you that happy. I'm glad you were happy to see me become a medical doctor. So many experiences. You coming to medical school, bringing me water, and there was no water on campus. You just popping in, I would just see you. You're like, oh, you're around the corner. You thought you would come and see me. You come to my room. How are you? Do you need anything? You were always asking, do you need? I'm like, I'm fine, I'm fine. You made sure I was well provided for. I didn't have to lack. Had all my needs met because you made sure I had everything I required. You were a good provider. You loved God. Oh my goodness, you loved God. You realized your imperfections. You knew you had your faults like every one of us, and you depended so much on God's mercy. You have us all pray, you know. As a family, we prayed a lot as a family. We prayed a lot. Prayer was one thing we always did, quite a lot. At any point in time, it was something as a family we loved to do. We prayed a lot as a family. You were a great leader. You led the family so well. A great decision maker. You would make decisions, and you carried us all along. We just... You know, you provided leadership to our home. Provided leadership. You taught me personally to work hard and be the best that I can be. You taught me to be a giver. You always gave. People passing by, you bring them in, come and eat. You will not be asking whether there's food in the house, or you just, this person, you should give him food, you know. You wanted to feed the whole world. You wanted to sort out everybody. That was just you. That was just you. If anybody had any need around you, you wanted to help. That was you. That father heart. I'll never forget when one of the times you came to Aberdeen, and the next morning I was going to work, and in your characteristic way, that was the beautiful thing, lovely thing about you. You came downstairs. I said, oh Daddy, I'm going to work. And you're like, oh okay. You got up from the bed, you came, followed me downstairs, we went out to the car, I got in, you closed the door. You know, you were that way. You were so loving, such a loving father. Came, and as I drove away, I said, oh my goodness, Daddy, That was so touching to follow me downstairs and come and get me into the car and close the door like I was your little girl again. I think I was always your little girl, you know. I think I was always your... You always saw me as a little girl. You wanted to do things for me. You wanted to be there for me, to protect me. What can I say? Your death hit me so hard. You know, we spoke that week. Remember, on video camera? I saw you. You were joking as usual. Everything was fine. And that was one thing, you know, you loved Mom so much. You would call her names. Okuma Momito, you know, you gave her that name, Okuma Momito, the Okumaism, you know, you always praising Mommy, always saying something nice about her, you know, so you showed us how a man should love his wife. You loved Mommy so much. Yeah, so we spoke that week on camera. I saw you, you were fine, you were full of health. You were just okay. Even at your age, nearly 80, you were in sound health. Physically, you were strong. As strong as an ox. You were a very strong man. You know, you were fine. And then on the Saturday, I learned, oh, you were taken ill, you've been taken to the hospital. I'm like, oh, I just spoke to him. So we put on the camera, and thank God for WhatsApp. I saw you, and I was calling you, Ebedike. You were just looking at me. You were just looking. You didn't seem to be in any pain. You didn't seem to be struggling to breathe. You were not coughing. You were just almost as if to say, it's time to go. Oh, that demo. I'll never forget calling you and you were not answering. But you looked so peaceful. I believe it was just time for you to go. You didn't struggle. There was no fight. You were not in pain. You just closed your eyes and went. You didn't want to stress us for even one moment. You were not like sick for months and months and we will have to carry you to this hospital, to that. No. You just went gallantly. I will always love you, my father. You taught me so much. I will pass on that love. You accepted my husband. He always chibo. He was like one of your sons. You just took him under your wings. That was you. You accepted all your in-laws. You just took them. Chibo was Chibo. Let me speak to Chibo. You know, you loved my husband so much. You showed us so much love. You never discriminated. You never, you just accepted us. Yeah. Okay, is this your husband? My other sister would say, oh, is this your husband? You know, you accepted all your sons-in-law. You accepted your daughters-in-law. What a heart you had. You never stressed any of us. No stress to our in-laws. My husband, you never stressed my husband. Your death hit him so hard. What can I say, my father? I love you. I know you're resting in the bosom of God because you knew your inadequacies and you depended only on Him. So I know you're in His hands. Continue to rest in peace. We'll see on that resurrection day. I love you so much. Adieu, my daddy.
Dr. Ogbalu was an accomplished University of Ibadan and Manchester, UK trained community physician and a fellow of the West African College of Physicians.
I studied nursing, became a doctor, worked for several years before I retired. But long before I retired, we came to Britain for me to do my specialist course and for my wife to do a lot of other studies. And while we were here, everything went on very, very well. And we were in Manchester. I was in Manchester University, about to go and do my master's degree in community nursing. I was working was not planning to come to Britain. But I did something for which sort of changed the leaders at the time.
He was also a fellow of the Institute of Corporate Administration of Nigeria. He was a senior consultant at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, UNTH, and senior lecturer at the University of Nigeria College of Medicine.
There are many good things for which he will be remembered, but his impact in my life was through his spirit of cheerful giving, his selfless hospitality to family members, friends, and strangers, his readiness to engage in dialogue no matter the circumstance. I remembered him telling me the importance of a good academic, moral, and cultural education, and his endeavors towards guiding all his children in obtaining good academic, moral, and cultural education.
He held various other positions nationally, including member, Board of Faculty of Medicine, National Committees on Reproductive Health, Global Malaria and Poverty Alleviation. He served as the Chief Medical Officer of Health in Aba, Northern and Southern Ngwa and Ukwa Divisions, Anambra State Director of USAID projects, Primary Healthcare Coordinator for the former Eastern Nigeria and Benue States, Anambra State Chief Consultant Community Physician and Director of Public Services.
Mgbe maifi na-eto, ọ na-eso nne abịa ọrụ ụzọ. Ọ na-aba ọbịa osolu ndị ya na ya tụkọ mmadụ dịka Ogbuefi Cyprian. Aje n'ụlọ ụzọ akụzisielie ka esi akpụ ụzọ. Ọkpụkarịa ndị kụzilie. Oge awa ka o gosi na ọkụkụ ga-abụ oke na-esite n'eju maka na ọ na-akpụkarị ndị kụzilie. And so, going forward, Eulgoy grew into a towering figure, educationally, professionally, a socialite that could not be missed in a crowd. He was very successful in the choices he made, and the federal government of Nigeria recognized him and gave him some appointments.
He was the chairman of the National Primary Healthcare Blueprint Committee that produced the PhD Millennium Blueprint on Health.
I'm Joy Bello Lisa. I consider it a great honor to talk about this great man, Dr. Mike Ogbalu, Debubedike one of our Ghana. I started staying in his house when I was 11 years till I got married. My children call him Big Daddy. He was a very passionate man about life and people as a whole. I learned quite a lot from him. The first one is hard work. He was so hardworking, and he keeps telling people that he works hard because he wanted to eradicate poverty from the lives of people around him. I learned the frailty of man from him and the mightiness of God. He had this larger-than-life personality that commanded respect. He was a man of the people, and we are going to greatly miss him.
On the international front, he was on the UNICEF international team that monitored Environmental Performance Index, EPI, conduct. He retired a federal consultant, Special Group 1 in 2002. For all his achievements, Chief Dr. Mike Ogbalu received several national and international awards, including the prestigious Best Nigerian Health Administrator for the year 2000.
My experience with Dr. Mike Ogbalu over the years has been a very wonderful. In the sense that being an erudite scholar, a very wonderful man, a man that you would like to be by your side because he will have one story or the other to tell you about his past experiences, his interactions with people politically, economically, across the globe, his experience at the time he traveled for his postgraduate programs abroad, and the way he misses all people. He's somebody that you cannot miss staying with. Ebedike is a fearless, if you like, you use the word warrior. He's the one that he's the type that can look into your eyes and tell you what he has on his way, on his mind, without missing words. So we so much love Ebedike and we miss him dearly. We are praying that the Almighty God will give all of us, the in-laws, the children, the brothers, the children, the wife, our dear Okuma, the fortitude to bear this loss that we are experiencing today. So that in the last day, the day of resurrection, we will be with Ebedike and the kingdom of God to celebrate Christ forever.
My daddy. Honestly, I really don't know where to start from. You know, when I got the news about daddy's death, it was, I didn't even believe it. I told them, no, it's not even possible. Because there are people that don't even believe will die. You know, I didn't believe. It took me, many days. You know, but thank God, God saw us through, and He's still helping us. I mean, it's clear to everyone that Ebedike is no more, but his memories lives on. Honestly, I just want to thank God for Daddy. For he was really part of us. He was a family man. My idol, my hero.
Chief Ogbalu is survived by his beloved and extremely supportive wife, Ogbalu. A retired chief nursing officer, and they are blessed with 8 children and more than 20 grandchildren.
So, first of all, Popsy calls me Minyo. You know, he has a nickname for each and every one of us, which is so beautiful. He even has for mommy too. And Daddy, that news really came in like a very big blow. That was on the 29th of February. In Canada here, it was 6 p.m. If you called, and as in, I couldn't believe it, because that Saturday morning I spoke to Mom C, and you know, so sometimes I look back and I'm like, I wish I had gone further to say, Mom C, please can you please give the phone to Daddy, let me just say hi to him. But I took it for granted. I just said, oh, Popsy, malaria, he'll be fine, Joe, he'll be fine, not knowing that that would be the last time I would even hear, you know, about him. Well, I want to thank God. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to appreciate God for his life. He's handsome, he's jovial, he likes to crack jokes too, and he likes to play games with us. He likes his Ludo, his drafts, his words. He just likes those things, and he likes to bring us together. He doesn't want, even when maybe we're in the room gisting, Popsy will come in. Tell me, I want to know, and all of us will be like, yeah, Popsy, please, you're not part of it. Don't worry, we'll just switch, you know, topic. And thank God for him. Thank God for Daddy. I still remember how he took care of each and every one of us. I remember, you know, how Popsy sold his land for me to be able to go do my master's in UK. Now, master's wasn't part of my plan, but Popsy insisted, and no, all of us, we must have our masters. That BSc is not like, you know, it's like as if everyone is getting BSc, but masters now is just very few, so we have to do it, you know. And the day I showed him my school fees, it was like, wow, let's see now, let's see how we can work around it. And to the glory of God, God provided through him. You know, he encouraged me. Uche was already in the UK. I went to the UK, did my masters, came back, you know, and God has been faithful. I got married. He's been a wonderful father-in-law to my husband. I'm sure my husband will be able to say something.
I'll tell my own stories later.
We'll be able to say something about him. So, Ebedike, I love you so much. you were indeed a pillar, you know, to us all. You were someone that we looked onto, not like God, but as our earthly father. You encouraged us. You made sure that we stood out for what is true, what is key, what is important, and you never believed in emailing anybody. You know how do I put it in English? You never believed in hurting or harming anyone. You just wanted the very best for everybody, which we grew up to. It grew up to be part of us. Now we don't look out to hurting someone. Instead, we turn it around. We want to be a blessing to everyone we come across with, no matter how little it is. It goes a long way, and God sees our heart. So, yeah, with Okuma, you're a darling, and I thank God for you. You're an amazing mommy, and we love you so much. I love you, Okuma. Keep being strong, okay? Keep being strong. God has taken Daddy, and by God's grace, you know that Daddy is in heaven, and one day we will surely meet him in heaven, and we'll all be there celebrating. So be encouraged. We're here. God is keeping us alive for a reason, and for that purpose we need to fulfill that purpose. So that's it from me. My husband.
So Eulgoy, as was popularly called, my wife has said everything. He was a great guy. He was an awesome guy. Everybody was afraid of him because of his principles, not because he had any ill. He just had his principles, and the day I met him officially to tell him I wanted to marry his daughter, yeah, my heart was racing. When I came in, he sat me down, we gisted, he brought cola nuts and gave me, and told me to take it to my father, and my father will understand. I said, okay, cool. But we talked for about 2-3 hours that day, talked about investment, talked about land, talked about education, talked about politics. And every time you meet him, he always has something, new to talk about. He's always asking about how you're faring, what your future plans are, what you're doing, have you bought land? He leads so much in land. Yeah. Investment. So he just wanted to invest. You need to save for the rainy day. You need to save for the future. And he loves his wrestling. So that's one thing both of us had in common. I love my wrestling, and he loves wrestling. The last time I saw him physically he came to Lagos, and we were in the house. We were watching. So I recorded my WrestleManias and Royal Rumbles and the rest. So I recorded them, and he was watching, and he slept off. I was like, an old man. Yeah, no, but he watched his wrestling. So I'll just say he was a great father-in-law. He happened to be friends to my grandfather, to my family. He didn't treat me like an in-law. He treated me like a son. So, I kind of felt like I was the younger, although I'm older than Uche, but I was, as the younger son. And Mike and everyone, treated me like family. So I would say Eulgoy is an awesome guy. He's going to be missed. We have big shoes to fill, and I pray God gives us the grace to fill it. I pray God gives us the grace to live up to the expectation that's, we have to live up to, and it's going to be missed. Okuma, we love you. You're a strong woman. You gave me, your daughter, awesome. So I will say thank you, and we love you. We're here for you anytime, any day. We know you miss Daddy, but God will strengthen you. And adios, Daddy. We will see in heaven, and
adios, Daddy.
We'll live up to the good name.
Yes, we'll make you proud. We'll make you smile whenever you look from heaven. We'll make you proud.
He was a very family-oriented man and spent a lot of time with his children, imparting into them the values of a good name and having integrity.
Hello, this is Olisa Annabelle Daisy. I'm Nee Ogbalu. I'm the 6th daughter of Chief Dr. Mike Ogbalu. the Ebubedike one of Abagana, and Ebubedike, as is fondly called, was my father. And just to share a bit of memory about him, he calls me Babes Colleen, like
Babes Colleen. Babes.
So he had a pet name for each of us, and I just remember like growing up how my father would always want the very best for us, always would push us to and challenge us to be the best that we can, whether it's in academics, social, in any way. He made sure that he wanted to see us to being the best at whatever we did, and that I really appreciate so much. My dad is such a principled man. He has his values. He has things that he holds dear to himself. My dad would never want to see anyone being maltreated. My dad always wanted to see everyone like happy and in a good space. And again, he didn't hold back when he had feedback or when he thought he had something to tell you about a situation. He would just go ahead and tell you that, right? And I think most people kind of took that to see or mean that he's such a strict, very strict person. And I even know that even having grown and being was married, my dad as well would, anytime we spoke to him, he would say, oh, have you considered this? Have you thought about this? He always wanted to make sure that we're improving and being the very best version of ourselves. I remember the day before he passed, I had called home like I would normally do, and they were trying to have lunch, and my mom had said, he wasn't feeling well and stuff, right? So I spoke to them, and he said they were on their way to the hospital, right? The next day, which was February 28th, the Saturday in the morning, my morning in Canada, I put a call through, and my mom, they were trying to eat. But he, so I told her to give him the phone, but he couldn't take the call. So she just turned the phone to him. I was like, oh, Daddy, it's malaria. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Everything, man, all of that. And he just waved like this in his usual manner. And that was the only memory or the last memory I remember of him. I just want to say that I miss him so much. Like, it came as a rude shock. But one thing I would just share is that my dad did the very best for my family. He did the very best for everyone that he impacted in one way or the other. As much as I want to be selfish to say, oh, I wish he was here, he could live like many more years, I'm grateful to God for the privilege to have been his daughter, to have been impacted by him in so many ways. I think I have such a huge and big memory of him. I have so much to talk about when I talk about my daddy, that it keeps me going, whether if it's his love for his wrestling, his love for his jokes, his love for games. We play a lot of games in my family. Anytime I get to Abuja or go to visit them in Eulgoy, we're always playing games. My father was a fun-loving person. Another big part of him as well was he told a lot of stories. I feel like I grew up with my daddy because I virtually knew everything about him growing up. He told us a lot of stories about himself, his siblings, his parents, his relations, and there's so many people surrounded around him that will kind of know a bit about their life or a bit about them because of the stories my dad told us. And I would just like to say that one thing that he has taught me, that he has engraved in my heart, is actually the love of family. My dad loved family so much, and he showed in everything. He showed in the way he related with his siblings. He showed in the way they brought us up here, and my mother. Malcolm, I love you so much. He showed in many ways, and it's one thing I take away to say that even though he's not here with me, even though he's not here with us, how do we live the memory that he has kept, he has kept for us? How do we make sure that in our own little way we're able to, be the best version that he's always wanted us to be? So I really just want to say thank you to my daddy, to my father, and just say that I miss him so much. I miss you so much, Daddy.
Wow. Ebubedike was a fantastic daddy. We really miss him. I think I shared a very good relationship with him. We're also very close. Even before I got married to my wife, I already had a relationship with him. And sort of one thing that she said that I want to portray is if there's one thing that Ebubedike stood for, yes, he stood for people that were less privileged. He stood for hygiene. He was very, very big on hygiene. Wash your hands. Even before this whole COVID stuff came out, he was like, wash your hands, because he's a medical doctor, right? So Chief Dr. Mike Ogbalu, one thing that I really appreciated, that I took away, is his love for his family. Even before we got married, the Bedike would come out to the kitchen and, like Saturday morning, and orchestrate all his girls, all his boys, and the kitchen would be active. He would just come in there, make sure everything is going, and then, he loved his family, he loved his brothers, he loved his sisters.
He abhorred fetish activities and would not hesitate to call out archaic practices that infringe on human rights.
The late Bedike Abagana was my eldest brother of the same parents, and I happen to be the youngest son of late Chief Michael Ogbalu. Yes, I remember in 1967, during the war, when as a small boy of about 8 years then, Bedike was a student of University of Ibadan, and he came in because of the war. But he was so sick. He was sick of yellow fever, which the Igbo people call Ibochanaya. He was so sick. Then the Nigerian army were shelling Abagana and its environ. Bedike, then we had only one driver from Imo called Chidi. Chidi could not convey everybody, all the members of the family alone. So Bedike, not minding he was very sick, he still, and because of the love he had for the family, he had to manage to assist Chidi in conveying all the members of the family to Osume, where we stayed till the end of the war. Bedike Abagana impacted my life in so many ways, that first, and one that I always appreciate each time I remember him, is that he was somebody who doesn't believe in procrastination. Anything he wants to do at any given time, he moves in and do it without minding who is involved, without minding what it will take him to do it. All he wanted is result and achievement. So with that, I learned it from him. Anything I want to go, I like to go straight to him. Whatever I want to do, I want to go straight to do it, not minding anything. And he believes in truth. He believes in truth. Bedike is somebody that, no matter, even if you are the same mother or anything, even if you are his son or daughter, if you are doing the wrong thing, he will tell you straight, not minding anything. So I learned that he is somebody that like to avow for truth at any time. So I learned that from him. And he doesn't like procrastination. No, he doesn't. He preached against it. If you are close to him, you will know what I'm saying. Yes, in Ogbalu family, the legacy handed over from our father, late Chief Michael Ogbalu, to his son FC Ogbalu, to SU Ogbalu, who handed over to Bedike that died, who handed over to Bedike. That legacy, he tried to maintain it. The closely knitted peace in Ogbalu's family today was as a result of Bedike's activities to maintain that love and peace handed over to him by our father and our two late brothers, so he now wanted to continue with that line, to see that the family is in peace, the family is one. The peace we are enjoying, the peace and love we are enjoying in Ogbalu's family today was as a result of Bedike's doing, because he maintained it. He maintained it right from the time they handed it over to him. He maintained it, that there was always peace.
He valued education so much, and apart from his own children, he ensured that several other people around him obtained good education.
I am from Eziowele in Idemili North local government.
Well, my first encounter with Ubedike was when he indicated the intention to marry my elder sister. Well, I'm quite close to my elder sister, so there are other suitors that were coming, and at the end, I advised that I prefer Ubedike because he presented a picture of the type of person I would like to be when I grow up. That was my first encounter, and the two families got on very, very well. We attended all parties, the wedding and all were done in a grand style. When my parents died, he showed up in a grand way as a very, very good in-law. Secondly, the next encounter was when I was going to study in the UK. I booked my flight Lagos-Manchester because the family are already in Manchester for some time. So when I got to Manchester airport, Ubedike personally picked me up at the airport and brought me home. And thereafter, he tutored me on how life is at United Kingdom. So I cherished his advice, and the following day, I had to move down to Bournemouth in the United Kingdom, where I had to do my studies. Then when I came back, the friendship and the good relationship with the two families continued earnestly. The next encounter was my third son, Mike. They actually took him up and trained him for 5 years in the Air Force Training Institute, where he graduated in aeronautic electronics. And we are very, very grateful to the family. That apart, he aids me financially and otherwise. And I did mention in my book, Marketing Management, that he happens to be my greatest benefactor, in the sense that he helped me both financially and as a good in-law. He was a very, very good and benevolent person to my family.
Chief Dr. Ogbalu was instrumental in the establishment of a hospital in his village, Aba, in Ntikop local government area of Anambra State.
My name is Nkemnobi Adajoramma, one of Abagana. Me, Nnemeka of Uru village. It is a great honor to talk about Dr. Ogbalu, Ebubedike, one of Abagana, whom I regard as a father, an uncle. I grew up in eastern part of Nigeria, where Ebubedike, one of Abagana, was one of the heroes in the medical world. He contributed a lot in the life and the growth of many people, especially our youth. He was instrumental to many youths taking up medical career as a profession. Ebubedike, one of Abagana, provided support in form of advice, finance, connections where necessary. He made himself available. That is who he was. You can see that in his titled name, Ebubedike, one of Abagana. His progressive encouragement inspired me to eventually take up the medical profession. I recognize and understand the power and the impact he created in me and most families in Igbo land and in our environment. Ebubedike, one of Abagana, championed the cause of bringing in the location of UNTH in Abagana, where a lot of lives were being saved. Many youths were being inspired to be interested in the medical field. Job opportunities were created for the youths and communities as a whole. Ebubedike, one of Abagana, was a man of honor, integrity. He was regarded and respected for his kind nature. Ebubedike, one of Abagana, your legacy lives on.
A large-hearted man, he will be fondly remembered for his generosity and enthusiasm in all he engaged in. Rest in heaven, Daddy. God bless you. We love you.